In a world where light is often manufactured through imitation, only a very small group, about 1%, carry a different kind of aura. They do not seek admiring eyes, nor do they try to stand out. Their mere presence is enough to shift the atmosphere in a room, enough to make others suddenly pause, as if awakened from a familiar dream. If you have ever made someone feel both drawn to you and unsettled, ever felt yourself to be too different to blend into the crowd, or ever wondered why people approach you only to pull away when you do not become the version they expected, then it is very likely that you carry a rare kind of aura. Carl Jung believed that true power does not lie in constructing a perfect persona, but in daring to look directly at both the light and the shadow within oneself. And from this honesty, a special kind of energy is born, one that can touch the truest part of others, making it impossible for them to keep pretending when they are near you. In today's video, we will explore 8 signs that you belong to the 1% who carry this rare aura, those who do not need the spotlight, yet leave a deep and lasting mark. And if you have ever felt too different to belong, perhaps this journey is meant for you. Number 1. You unsettle people without doing anything at all. Have you ever walked into a room, said nothing, yet felt the air subtly shift? As if a wave of static electricity just swept through, the way some people subtly adjust their posture, eyes darting around for a point of focus, while the lively conversation halts for a split second. It is not because you are trying to make an impression. You do not dress unusually, nor do you have an overly striking appearance. It is simply that your presence alone is enough to cause a slight shift in everything around you, something invisible, yet undeniably real. And strangely, you do not have to do anything. Carl Jung called this phenomenon archetypal tension, the tension that arises when archetypes in the human unconscious are stirred before they are brought into conscious awareness. When you carry a rare energy, a special kind of aura, you unconsciously become a mirror that reflects the unnamed depths within others. You are present in truth. Not the truth laid bare in a harsh way, but a quiet truth from within, without a mask, without contorting yourself to meet expectations. In a world accustomed to pretending in order to please others, such honesty becomes disruptive. It pierces the unconscious defenses of those you meet, leaving them unsettled without knowing why. A friend once told me that at a small reunion with former colleagues, within minutes, she could sense everyone's gaze becoming more cautious. No one said it out loud, but the atmosphere gradually shifted from relaxed to guarded. It was not because she said anything cutting, it was because her silence, natural, unforced, uneager to blend in, made others feel exposed, as if they were being made to look inward, though no one asked them to. A strong aura does not need to be loud. It transmits like delicate waves, like you have opened an invisible door into uncharted layers of someone else's being. And not everyone is ready to walk through that door. Carl Jung once said, "The meeting of 2 personalities is like the contact of 2 chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. If the other person is not ready for that transformation, they will hesitate, as if something about you has made them unexpectedly confront themselves. Their unease is not about you, it is their own depths reacting to the authenticity you carry. I have seen this in a friend with a remarkable aura. She never demands that anyone be authentic, but by the way she lives, others simply cannot go on pretending. A co-worker once admitted after leaving their team, "I couldn't sit next to her without feeling like I was lying to myself." This was not an accusation, it was an awakening. If your aura is authentic enough, it can be a light so strong that falsehood simply cannot survive in its presence. You are like a very gentle breeze, no noise, no force, but enough to stir open doors that have long been shut. And not everyone is ready to open them. Perhaps you have started relationships where the other person disliked you at first. They called you cold, hard to read, too serious. But over time they returned. They sensed something in you they could not find anywhere else. A presence that did not pressure, did not entertain, but was deeply real. That very realness, which once made them uncomfortable, becomes the thing they long for. You are not the easiest person to warm to right away, but once someone walks with you, they will not want to leave. Because you are not the person who makes them happiest, you are the one who makes them most real. And perhaps that is why you sometimes feel lonely. You have asked yourself, why am I always the one who makes people pause? But the truth is, you are the resting point the world needs. A place calm enough, real enough, to make others listen to what they have never dared to hear from themselves. A strong aura does not need to prove itself. All you have to do is be yourself, and sometimes that alone is a quiet revolution. However, when you carry a frequency so distinct that it makes others cautious, you may also carry an invisible burden, something vague, unnamed, that even you cannot quite put into words. Number 2. You carry something heavy that you cannot name. There is a kind of weariness that does not come from work, nor entirely from physical or emotional strain. It is a heaviness that feels vague, like carrying something on your shoulders that does not belong solely to you. A deep sadness whose origin you cannot pinpoint. Something you know but cannot explain in words. You feel it like a faint mist that hovers around you. You cannot name it, cannot explain it, yet it is always there. It does not leave. Carl Jung called this the collective unconscious, a deep layer of the mind where memories, symbols, and experiences accumulated over thousands of years are stored. Every person carries a part of it, but only a few can hear it more clearly, and you may be one of them. For you, sensing comes before reasoning. You do not need someone to tell you or explain. You still know when something is stirring in them. You can walk into a space and instantly feel your heart grow heavy, not because the place is sad, but because you are picking up on nameless energies that exist there. Living with such sensitivity often leaves you feeling like you stand between two worlds, one of logic, evidence, and explanation, and another of intuition, feeling, and the unspoken. Things no one else understands but you. You still live, still smile, still converse. But deep down, a voice whispers, "What am I carrying? And why does no one else feel the same?" You may have sat among friends, yet felt alone, not because they disliked you, but because they could not tune into the frequency you are on. As if you were in a parallel version of reality, where untold stories, uncomforted souls still quietly exist. Jung once said, "The collective unconscious consists of the sum of the instincts and their correlates, the archetypes." So what you feel, though it has no clear reason, may be the echoes of ancient memories rising within you. Not everyone can hear them, but you can. I once met a teacher of young children. She had never studied psychology, nor read about energy. But by looking into a child's eyes, she could immediately tell if something had happened at home that day. No reasoning, just a certain knowing inside her. And she was always right. A therapist once said, "There are people who carry eyes as if they have lived many lives. They don't need to ask. Simply being with them makes you feel heard." You may have heard people say the same of you, that you make them feel lighter, even when you say nothing at all. But carrying such sensitivity is not always easy. You know, but cannot say. You feel, but no one understands. And so you begin to doubt yourself. Am I too sensitive? Am I just imagining things? Do not doubt it. You are not imagining. You are listening to a part of life that modern society has grown accustomed to ignoring. The place where the memories of humanity, of the soul, of history still speak through you. You do not need to prove anything. You do not need to rationalize what you feel. If you have ever known something would happen, and it did. If someone opened their heart to you with nothing more than a glance. If you have felt your spirit sink at the sight of a stranger's weary eyes in a cafe, that is your proof. You are not a dreamer. You are connected, and you carry a piece of memory that belongs not only to you, but to humanity itself. And if you have ever carried a deep, unnamed feeling, a sadness without an origin, or an intuition no one believed, share your story in the comments. You may find that you are not alone. Number 3. You make others feel seen, even when you are not trying. Have you ever sat with someone, simply listening, not asking probing questions, not trying to analyze, and yet they still open up to you as if shedding a heavy coat? They tell you things they have never told anyone. Fears, wounds, thoughts they have kept hidden. And then they retreat. Not because you did anything wrong, but because your presence, gentle as it is, touched a deep place within them, a place they themselves are not yet ready to face. Carl Jung called this the manifestation of the mirror archetype. Those who carry this energy do not need to try to make others seen, but their authenticity and stillness cause others to feel reflected. Not a reflection of outward appearance, but of the inner world, the parts hidden beneath masks, habits, or unconscious self-defense. You do not intentionally see through anyone, but your sincere and clear presence is like a flat, unclouded mirror, revealing what the other has never named. And not everyone is ready to look into such a mirror. They have grown accustomed to playing roles, pleasing others, or simply staying busy to avoid stopping for too long. When they meet you, they are suddenly illuminated, not by words, but by your very being. And this leaves them both grateful and afraid. You make others feel truly seen in a way they have never experienced. But because of this, you may have had deep connections that ended quickly. Someone enters your life fast, opens up deeply, then disappears, quietly. They do not leave because you hurt them, but because you made them see themselves. A self not yet ready to be seen. A strong aura is like that. It is not loud. It does not overpower. But it is deep enough to touch the most authentic parts of another person. You do not try to fix them. You do not try to teach them anything. But your light draws to the surface everything false or unhealed within them. And sometimes that is too much for some to bear. Like Galadriel in The Lord of the Rings, a symbol of ancient light and piercing intuition. When someone approaches her, They do not only encounter beauty or nobility, but are also illuminated to the depths of their own mind. Galadriel need not speak much, yet her light and awakened presence reveal both the light and the darkness in others. Some are grateful, some flee, but no one leaves unchanged. You are the same. Without trying to influence, your presence becomes a spiritual mirror, making avoidance impossible. Perhaps you have felt sadness, even blamed yourself, thinking, if only I weren't this sensitive, this deep. But the truth is, you are not wrong. You are simply a bearer of light. And when light shines into a place too used to darkness, it will at first cause a glare. That does not diminish its value. If you have ever experienced a deep connection only to have someone turn away, remember, it is not because you are not enough. It is because the light you bring made them see what they were not ready to face. And that is uncomfortable. But sometimes, their retreat is the first step in their real growth. You do not need to do anything but remain yourself, authentic, still, unforcing. One day, someone will be ready to stand in your light. They will not retreat, will not avoid, will not look away. They will stay, not because you make them happy, but because you make them real. And that is the greatest gift you can give, not through words, but through the quiet, profound energy of your presence. Number 4. You walk through life with the feeling of belonging nowhere. When you are someone who carries such light, someone who unknowingly makes others reflect on themselves, you are also often someone who must learn to walk alone. Not because you are unloved, but because you begin to realize no place truly holds the depth of who you are. You may have tried to fit in, to be friendly, easy to understand, to match the environment around you. But no matter how tactfully you speak, how warm you try to be, there remains a deep truth. You do not belong here. Not to that conversation, not to that relationship, not to that mold. As if you are living in two worlds, one busy, loud, structured, full of expectations and roles, and another much deeper, where life moves through feeling, intuition, silence, and truth. Carl Jung called this the journey of an individuated soul, a soul walking the path toward wholeness. When a person begins to awaken, they no longer follow the crowd as they once did. They begin to ask questions. They feel more deeply. They withdraw from falsehood. And this makes them no longer fit the old world. Not because you are strange, but because you are changing. You pass through parties without excitement. You sit among close friends, yet feel like an outsider. You are in a familiar home, yet your spirit feels as if it is wandering far away. Not because you are lonely, but because you hear another call, a quiet but undeniable call, pulling you closer to your truest self. I once heard a woman tell a story I never forgot. She was a highly successful manager in a large corporation. Everyone admired her, saying she had it all: money, status, leadership skills. But each night, coming home, she felt as though she was living someone else's life. She began withdrawing, avoiding social gatherings, and no longer fit with her old friends. Once, she tried to force herself back into the old rhythm, dining out, laughing, keeping up appearances, but returned home feeling emptier than ever. Only when she admitted, "I'm not wrong. I'm simply becoming someone else," did the sense of displacement begin to give way to peace. You may be in that phase too, a stage where everything that once made you feel fine no longer fills you. This does not mean you are regressing. It means you are moving toward your true self. Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." The feeling of belonging nowhere is not a sign you are wrong. It is a sign you are awakening. You are shedding the old shell, crossing the space between two worlds, moving closer to a place where you do not need to act, to fit, only to be. And sometimes that feeling of displacement is the most precious gift, because it forces you to search within instead of chasing outward. It draws you into a silent dialogue with yourself, where you begin to ask, what is true? What is mine? What lightens my heart without effort? Perhaps right now you cannot see your place, but trust that it is not a house, a group, or a title. It is when you begin to feel at ease in your own skin, comfortable alone, and no longer needing to belong anywhere, because you already belong to yourself. If you are still quietly carrying your own light, leave a small symbol, a crescent moon, a candle, or anything representing the part of you that needs no words. Somewhere out there, another soul like yours might see it and realize they are not alone. Number 5. You are often misunderstood because you communicate beyond words. You do not speak much. You are not quick to jump into loud conversations, nor are you eager to express feelings in flowery language. But that does not mean you do not feel or do not understand. On the contrary, you feel deeply, often before anything is spoken. And because of this, you are often misunderstood. Some think you are hard to approach because you do not joke like they do. Some say you are cold, simply because you do not join in endless chatter. Some call you unpredictable or distant, even though you have done nothing. You are simply being yourself. Carl Jung once said that most people live unconsciously without knowing it. They function by habit, reflex, and social conditioning, without truly listening inward. And when they meet someone like you, slower, more authentic, they do not know how to interpret you. In that uncertainty, they begin to project. In psychoanalysis, projection is a defense mechanism. When someone cannot recognize a part of themselves, they project it onto others. If they are insecure without knowing it, they might feel you are making them uncomfortable. If they fear silence because it evokes something unresolved, they will call you mysterious, tense, or hard to be around. You do not try to create distance, but you also do not fake closeness. You are simply present, without overspeaking, without overdoing. And in a world of constant performance, that honesty earns you the label hard to understand. You may have heard, "Why aren't you saying anything?" Or, "You should open up more," or, "I don't know what you're thinking." Such remarks often come not from true concern, but from their unease at not being able to read you. But you were not born to be predictable. You are here to live as yourself, at your own pace, in your own depth. You speak a language few people learn: presence, breath, gaze, stillness. You can tell when someone is not okay just by the way they walk into a room. You feel loneliness in the pause between words. You do not need a confession. You still know. Ironically, this empathy can make you vulnerable. You understand too soon, feel too deeply, while others are not yet ready to face their truth. I once heard a story from a man about his first date with a woman whose energy was very different. She did not speak much, just observed. She did not ask the usual questions, did not fill the silences. Yet within minutes, he felt as though he was being seen through, even though she did nothing. At the end of the date, he said he felt pressured. But months later, he sought her out again, admitting, "You didn't say anything wrong. You just made me look at things I wasn't ready to see." Your aura can do that, not with words, but with a presence gentle yet so true that it brings to light what others are avoiding within themselves. Have you ever been left because you didn't share enough, even though you always listened? Been called difficult to approach, though you never refused connection? This is the natural consequence of living truthfully in a world run on expectation, speed, and noise. Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." Which means, when someone does not understand you, it is not necessarily because you are too different, but because they are not ready to face the part of themselves being mirrored. You do not need to be loud to be loved. You do not need to explain yourself to be accepted. Your aura does not need applause. It only needs space to exist unaltered, without being forced into digestible form for someone's comfort. And the comforting truth is, you are not alone. There are others like you, living quietly in depth, also misunderstood, also waiting for someone still enough to hear what is left unsaid. And if you are reading this, perhaps you are one of them. Number 6. You attract people who want to change you, then get angry when you don't. There is a very common paradox among those with a strong aura. They attract others, yet they are also the ones who end up disappointing them. You may have heard this before. "I've never met anyone like you." At first, it's a compliment, full of fascination and curiosity. But a few months later, the same person might say, "I don't know what you're thinking," or "I'm tired of feeling like you're always in your own world." That's when you realize they never truly loved your real self. They loved the idea of you. Carl Jung called this the clash between the individuated self, a person who has become authentic and psychologically independent, and collective projections, the expectations others project onto you. When you are not easy to understand, not easy to control, and do not live to please or fit, you become something that makes them uncomfortable, a free embodiment, impossible to tame. It is like the image of the forest maiden in folklore. Everyone is enchanted by her mysterious beauty. They enter the forest, thinking they can possess that magic, bring her home, dress her in the town's style. But the maiden is still the maiden of the woods. She doesn't belong in the house. She still slips out to the stream at midnight, speaks to the birds, and spends hours silently watching a leaf fall. And then they accuse her, "You refuse to fit in." But she's not wrong. She's just herself. You are the same. You draw people in with your depth, your stillness, your difference. But then they start expecting you to behave more like a normal person, to talk more, to smile at the right times, to respond faster, to show just enough emotion. And when you don't, they feel let down and blame you. You never intend to hurt anyone. You just live at your own rhythm, slower, deeper. And that less is misinterpreted as lacking, as distant, even though you have never been shallow with anyone. A friend once told me her boyfriend said, "I feel like you're always holding something back, never showing me everything." But when I asked her, "Were you being untrue?" she shook her head. I was honest. I listened. I shared important things. I'm just not good at the sweet talk or grand gestures he wanted. And that's the problem. They don't see in you the expressions they expect, so they assume you don't have the feelings, even though you love with loyalty, with patience, by being there whenever they need you. But because you don't love in ways they easily recognize, they think you don't love. A strong aura works on a different frequency. Those who can't tune in will think you're silent. But you're not silent. You simply don't operate by their familiar reference points. And when you don't change to fit their expectations, they begin to see you as the problem. They call you difficult, hard to read. Then they withdraw. But deep down, there is an unconscious frustration. Why didn't you become the version they imagined? That frustration isn't because you did something wrong. It's because you shattered an illusion they were holding on to. In a society that values being easy to understand, people like you make others uneasy. They can't handle the ambiguity you create. They can't stand not knowing what you're thinking. And instead of learning to listen more deeply, they conclude, you need to change. But change for what? To fit their expectations? You've tried before and felt suffocated. You've tried being more cheerful, more normal, only to be so drained you barely recognized yourself. You were not born to fit every mold. You are not a square stone to be placed neatly in a ready-made frame. You are water, fluid, with your own path, with depths not everyone can measure. And if someone only loves you when you conform to them, that is not love. That is possession in sweet disguise. Real love, whether friendship, romance, or soul connection, will not ask you to change to be acceptable. It will widen its heart to embrace you as you are. If someone has ever left you because you would not change, thank them, because they have shown you you no longer need to try. Trust that you are not alone. There are people out there searching for a connection without roles, without the need to fit. They too are tired of adjusting themselves. They too are longing to meet someone like you. Not easy, but deep. Not loud, but present. Not blending in, but real. And when two such souls meet, no one will want to change the other. Because in the presence of someone like you, silence becomes a language. Difference becomes a gift. And being yourself is no longer a battle. Number 7. You feel everything too deeply and no one sees it. Have you ever felt drained after a conversation where no one even argued? Fallen into a vague sadness just because a strange song drifted through a familiar cafe? Or felt your heart tremble just from the nervous blink of someone's eyes in a crowd? You do not react dramatically. You do not say it out loud. No one knows. But you feel so deeply that even you find it strange, as if you live alongside a layer of emotion the world around you does not notice. Science calls this high sensory processing sensitivity, a trait found in only about 15 to 20% of people whose nervous systems are more finely tuned. According to Dr. Elaine Aron, those in this group do not just hear or see more clearly. They process every signal through a deeper emotional layer, making each experience leave a stronger imprint on the mind. You are like a violin strung tight. From the outside, no one sees the difference, but the slightest emotional breeze makes you vibrate instantly. That vibration is not loud, not performed, but real and deep. And not everyone can hear that subtle sound except you. Someone once told me, I can't stand seeing someone sad, even if they never say a word. I go home, and the feeling stays with me all night. It's not mine, but it's still there. And I understood, because you, like her, don't just live with your own emotions. You absorb the unspoken feelings of others. That's why you get tired. Not from work, not from conflict, but from living in a world full of unseen waves you can hear, one by one. You've tried to block it out, to make yourself more normal, less sensitive. But soon enough, you find yourself drawn back to the eyes that smile sadly, to unfinished stories, to songs with quiet endings. Because you cannot not feel. It's in your design. Once a friend told me about a child in her class. The girl never spoke up, always sat at the back. But when the teacher changed her desk, the girl quietly cried. No one understood why. Only one perceptive teacher realized. That seat was the only place she could see the tree outside the window, the one thing that gave her peace each day. You are like that. You grieve over what others overlook. But sadly, because you do not display your feelings in dramatic ways, people assume you're fine. They do not see you collapse. They do not see you rage. So they think you don't feel anything. But inside you is a silent symphony, rich, layered, that only you are tuned to hear. Jung once said, "A man who has not passed through the inferno of his passions has never overcome them." And that is you, the one who has traveled through nameless depths within, even if no one knows how many times you have had to hold yourself steady to keep the surface calm. And so you get used to staying quiet, not speaking of the pain, not explaining the fatigue. No one asks what you truly feel. You are like a deep lake, calm on the surface, but with an emotional ecosystem beneath that only the brave dare dive into. But the truth is, you don't need anyone to understand. You only need someone patient enough not to fear your depth. And you need to learn to return to yourself, so that even if no one sees, you still know exactly how you are vibrating inside. Because the more you deny that sensitivity, the more you break. But if you learn to care for it, you will become a light for the unspoken souls. And perhaps because you feel so deeply, within you there is already a wound and a gift hidden inside it. No one sees it, but it is there, quietly shaping the way you love, live, and show up. Number 8. You were born with a wound and a gift hidden within. Not everyone grows up with the feeling that they have lost something from the very start. But you have. From an early age, you have felt you did not fully fit, not just in a group of friends or in a certain environment, but in the way this world operates. You sense something out of rhythm. Even if you live properly, doing everything people call right, you still feel empty. No one has mistreated you, but you still feel a sharpness somewhere unnamed, as if a wound existed before you even knew what hurt was. You are like a child born in the meadow, yet hearing a call from a deep forest no one has entered. You do not know where the call comes from. You only know it is real. And if you ignore it, you will feel yourself wither day by day, even while smiling, living, having everything. Carl Jung once wrote, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." Awakening cannot come through easy lessons. It only comes when you touch the wound you have long avoided and realize what you call a flaw is where the light can enter. I once heard the story of Lady Gaga, an artist with a unique, untamable energy. As a child, she felt she was too much, too strange, too different. She was bullied, isolated, and often felt she had to hide her creativity and depth to be accepted. But from those wounds, she began to write music as a way to say what no one would hear. From loneliness, she created songs that touched millions of hearts, reaching a level of stage brilliance few achieve. And when asked why she fights for sensitive souls, she replied, "Because I know what it feels like when no one believes you're worthy." Your wound is the same. It is not here to block you. It is the path you must walk to become more fully yourself. You do not need to heal it all at once. You only need the courage to sit with it, like an old friend, and ask, "What have you come to teach me?" You were not born to be like anyone else. You were born to become something that has never existed before. And that does not begin with success, nor with comfort, but with daring to sit right in the middle of your pain and say, "I'm ready to listen." You are not broken. You are simply called in a way ordinary people do not understand. But if you keep following that call, you will step into your truest self. No need to fit in. No need to fix yourself to be loved. Just return. Because the wound, it turns out, is the gate to the gift you have been carrying. And from that wound, your aura is born. Not a showy light, but an inner glow that makes others feel safe around you. You do not need to say anything grand. Your presence alone is enough to make the wounded feel seen, accepted. Your aura does not come from perfection, but from the fact that you have walked through the dark and still kept your heart open. A person with a rare aura does not need to take the stage, to speak loudly, or to seek agreement. They are not remembered for noise, but for something greater. The feeling of being truly seen, of touching what is real. And when the world spins in the comfort of the predictable, the acceptable, the easily digestible, someone like you, who lives slowly, deeply, by subtle signals, is the pause that makes others stop. You do not need to change to fit. You do not need to explain everything to be understood. And you certainly do not need to become normal to be loved. And if, in any part of this article, you have paused, feeling as if someone were writing the thing you've never said out loud, then perhaps you are one of that 1%. Do not let the world make you doubt it. Leave a dot, a symbol, or just a simple word, so I know you are here, still quietly carrying your own light. And if you are ready to live more truthfully, without asking permission, hit follow and turn on the bell. Not to become someone else, but to remember, you never needed to be anything other than yourself, because you as you are is the rare thing the world has been quietly waiting to meet.